Let us now adjust our sitting posture until we feel comfortable. Let us take a few deep breaths and observe which part of the nose we can feel that sensation of breath clearest and strongest. We may put our attention around there to feel the sensation of breath. Breathe in, relax. Breathe out, relax. Always have a little smile when we cultivate mindfulness and its applications. Our practice aims to replace ignorance with wisdom. Wisdom is to realize the truth of this life, of this body and mind. And we summarize body and mind as breath, feelings, and thoughts. Anapanasati, mindfulness with breathing, will support us to understand the true nature of this breath body, feelings, and thoughts. To understand how they relate to one another, to understand how they condition one another, and to understand that they are the subjects to that grabbing hands of attachment. And with these grabbing hands of attachment, we see the birth of I, me, my. And the consequences is unsatisfactoriness, unhappiness. The whole practice of Anapanasati is to train mindfulness to become stronger, at the same time to produce enough concentration of the mind. So we can use that calm mind to look at this breath body and see the truth, to look at feeling and see the truth, to look at thought and see the truth. Look at the action of looking requires concentration. Mindfulness with breathing will offer us high level of concentration of the mind. And to make the practice more interesting, the concentration of the mind will come together with nice and relaxed feeling. So when we try to observe, when we are watching something, when we are looking at something, we still feel nice. And that makes the practice of Vipassana meditation much easier and more interesting. And we have been observing, looking, and initiate how to look. So we pinpoint the moment when refined breath, nice feeling, and thought end. We look at the end, and we keep on looking at the end until this consciousness crystallizes the idea, the new idea, that this breath, refined breath, in particular, happy feeling, like thought, they all are subject to change. This is what we say, seeing the truth. Consciousness now starts to see the reality. Slowly, consciousness will register impermanent refined breath as soon as refined breath happens. Impermanent happy feeling when happy feeling is on. Impermanent like thought when we are still thinking. Once consciousness is able to acknowledge impermanent nature of all of these desirable objects, we can see the reaction of the grabbing hands of attachment slowly loosen. Slowly, this grabbing hand of attachment dissolve. And the consequences is unhappiness, stress, fear, anxiety start to decline. And we feel much better. And the reaction to all of this process is the refined breath itself. The breath will become much more refined than before. And for this morning, we will continue to acknowledge anatta sunyata. After consciousness register impermanent refined breath, impermanent happy feeling, now we initiate consciousness to look at three natures, three characters. First, this refined breath happens according to right conditions. The refined breath cannot happen alone. It depends on conditions. So it's called anatta sunyata. Second, this refined breath is beyond our direct control. That means we cannot order refined breath to come immediately. We cannot order refined breath to be here forever. We cannot order refined breath not to disappear. Refined breath just happens according to right conditions. When conditions change, refined breath is gone. So we have no direct control. Third, refined breath acts as no ownership. This refined breath comes without invitation and goes away without permission. We have no direct communication to refined breath. It can come anytime and it can go out away anytime. No one can talk to refined breath. And refined breath listens to nobody. These three natures are included in that word anatta, sunyata. Anatta, non-self, not self, selflessness. Sunyata, voidness of self, voidness of ownership, voidness of belonging to. As we're breathing in and out, when refined breath is here, we slowly see impermanent. Refined breath is impermanent because it is anatta, sunyata, or vice versa. Sunyata, voidness of self, anatta, selflessness, because refined breath is impermanent, changing forever. So now, we can't see the image of I, me, my, related to refined breath. It is just refined breath that happens, appears, and disappears. We don't see the word I breathing smoothly. We can't see the word me who has that refined breath. We can't see the sentence I am the owner of this refined breath. It just refined breath comes and goes. And now we start to understand the origin of unhappiness. Whenever we put the word I am breathing refined breath, when that refined breath ends, I lost refined breath. I am in trouble. The origin of the problem when we claim it's me who are breathing refined breath. When refined breath ends, poor me, I lost that refined breath. The origin of the problem is my refined breath. When refined breath changes, I lost my refined breath. So now we understand the cause, the origin of unhappiness. It just begins right here and now. When the word I, me, my emerge in the middle of this experience. Oppositely, if there is no I, me, my, impermanent refined breath never hurts, never create unhappiness to this consciousness. Because consciousness accepts wholeheartedly, refined breath is subject to change, anicca. There is no owner to the refined breath, sunyata. Refined breath is beyond anybody's direct control, anatta. Refined breath depends on conditions, sunyata anatta. No self, non-self. With this realization, we call it Magga, the middle way, the path leading to the cessation of unhappiness, unsatisfactoriness that we are practicing right now. So as we are breathing in and out with refined breath, we learn the Four Noble Truths by heart. The first Noble Truth is unhappiness, unsatisfactoriness. That's stress, fear, anxiety, worry. It happens at the end of the life because of attachment, expectation to that I, me, my. The second noble truth, the origin of problem, the origin of unhappiness, samudaya. Now we can see very clear inside our heart. It is the image of I, me, my. The false attachment, the misunderstanding, the ignorant claiming. That is the origin of problem. And the third noble truth, nirvana or nibbana, is right here in our heart. When we see clearly impermanent refined breath, sunyata anatta refined breath, and no emerging of I, me, mine. There's no unhappiness as a consequence. The quietness of ego, selfishness, ownership, the liberation from that grabbing hands of attachment. And we learn the fourth noble truth, Magga, the path, the middle way leading to Nirvana, Nibbana, as we are practicing right now. Mindfulness, calmness, looking and seeing and realizing. In the name of the Noble Eightfold Path, the eight qualities of first, right understanding, Sammaditthi. Second, right thought, Samma Sankappa. Third, right speech, Samma Vaca. Fourth, right action, Samma Kammanto. Fifth, right lifestyle, Samma Achiva. Sixth, right effort, Samma Vayamo. 7. Right mindfulness, Samma Sati. 8. Right concentration, Samma Samadhi. All of these 8 qualities now blend together to be one as we are breathing in and out. Now we learn 4 noble truths. It happens in one click. And the practice of middle way, the 8 noble path, happens at the same time in one click. So in one moment of consciousness, we practice the whole Buddhist teaching. Or let's say, in one breath, we learn the whole Buddhism. Breathe in, relax. Breathe out, relax. We can apply the same manner of practice to that happy feeling, happiness, relaxed feeling. Between refined breath, happy feeling, and like thoughts, if possible, we pinpoint our attention, especially to that happy feeling. And people in the world call happiness. Happiness. Happiness is the bottleneck of all power actions in this world. All mental actions, or verbal actions, physical actions, all follow this happiness. If we are going to purify our mental, verbal, physical actions, or if we wish to stop causing trouble to this world, then we act on this bottleneck happiness. So we prefer to practice vipassana meditation, looking at and see the truth of happiness. It will save a lot of time, save a lot of energy to deal with thoughts and actions. Breathe in, relax. Breathe out, relax.